Hello out there, and welcome to another episode of On the Rocks with Tracy and Angie. And everyone knows I'm Tracy, and of course, that's my sidekick, Angie.
And this right here is the lovely chiropractor friend extraordinaire, Andy Harris.
And
welcome.
Special guest,
hello.
welcome.
Nice to be here.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to have you. So now I understand. I mean, I know that you're Angie's chiropractor and a well-known chiropractor for that.
Okay.
So tell me a little bit about her and how she is as a patient.
I'm great.
Does she crack you up?
Are we using crack as a joke in chiropractic world? Is that what we're doing right now? Okay. A little chiro humor to start it all off.
Right. Let's just start some humor.
Break
going
the ice.
right?
Exactly. So, Angie's great. Angie's been a patient since, I guess I came down here 10 years ago. God, it's been 10 years already, right? That's a lot of time ago. So Angie came in the office probably about right in that time frame, and she's been a great patient since. So helped her with a lot of different issues that she's had, and now we're dealing with she's got a disc issue that's kind of reared its ugly head at her. So
and I'm on a new machine.
Yes, we have machines that help.
The DX.
The DRX.
DRX.
It's a big acronym. DRX.
And what does that do? The DRX.
It's a DRX. It's a DRX 9000. So the office, even though we're chiropractic, I do a lot of disc work. So we handle men and women that have bulges, herniations, and ruptures. So we have machines that actually basically return those discs back into a good integrity and get people healthy and well without the use of drugs and medicine nor surgeries.
Oh, that's great.
It's really it's state-of-the-art stuff that we do. The disc decompression work's been going on for about 40 years, and the machines have gotten better. So now we do it for low back, neck, and then we've just brought stuff in for knees as well. So we're doing stuff for men and women that have knee breakdown.
How about hips?
Not so much from a standpoint from a decompression component, but we also have special, we have shockwave in the office, which also helps with inflammation in and around any joint, knee, hip, ankle, shoulder, elbow.
Well,
so really like.
Maybe I should try that before I go for a hip surgery replacement.
Yeah. And the last thing we have in there is we have a machine called the Matrix. So it's kind of like, you haven't. No, you have not.
I'd love to go to the Matrix. I love the
Matrix,
movie.
Yeah, so you'd want the Matrix. But the Matrix is a really cool machine, state of the art. It's a big word, makes me sound really smart. It's called electroanalgesic. I can't even use words more than 4 letters, but that's a big word for me to get out. But what it does is it helps with pain management, and then it also helps with nerve and deep tissue inflammation around a joint. So it's really we're the only office in probably all of Volusia County that has all those pieces of equipment that can really do that kind of work.
Now the Matrix then sounds like it might help a hip.
Matrix would be a really great thing for hip. So we use that a lot for hips, and the shockwave. Shockwave is only probably about 7 minutes, but when you're in the Matrix, it's about a 30-minute protocol. So
I'm definitely going to call and book now because I just am afraid to be cracked. I think we've talked about this before. Mm-hmm. I'm terrified of hearing. First of all, I don't want to hear my stuff. I'd be terrified of me too.
I mean, look at me. I'm scary. So.
Well, you certainly look like you're strong. You could break something.
Well, I haven't broken anyone yet. So, but there's a first for everything. So.
So she swears by you, and I know how painful her back is, and she's had that. Whatever.
I mean, I've been going since I was 18 to a chiropractor.
Well, you've had that
scoliosis.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't. Whatever. I have scoliosis, an S curve.
Yes, you do. So so you're a little crooked, mentally, physically, emotionally, all of it.
Yeah, and I'm here. It's like a little dizzy sometimes.
Yeah. So, but I mean, the full premise of our office has always been and always will be is we want to keep men and women off medications and drugs. That's just going to cover up the symptom. And we also really, at this point in my career, is I want to keep people away from the knife. I see the unfortunate results of that, and it doesn't help. It never helps. So if we can keep people away from the surgical table, we are really doing a good job.
Yeah, I like that philosophy because I'm actually a believer in that. Because I don't take the doctors give me pain pills for the hip. They're only like 500 milligram Motrin kind of thing, but I try not to even take that or Aleve or Advil, whatever
But what you just said right there, you said it's only 500 milligrams, right? Well, think of men and women that are taking 2, 3, 4 of them a day, every day, weeks, months on end. Then that starts to add up, becomes toxic, affects your liver. It just becomes this.
I totally agree with all of that. I'm very much into all that, but also I find that when I do take medication to help with the pain, I'm doing more with it because I'm not in pain, and I'm not sure, is that damaging it more or is it keeping it more flexible? So I'm not really sure.
Think about this. You're driving down the road, check engine light comes on your car, and your husband's name again?
Fred.
And you say, Fred, honey, can I have some big piece of black tape? So what's that for? So you throw it on that check engine light. You don't even see it, and you just keep driving your car down the road, right? you're going to wind up damaging the car unbeknownst to it because you don't know, you don't see the check engine light.
I always said that. That's why I try not to take a pain pill unless I really, really need it, which is like an Aleve or Advil. One of
and I always say, if you're going to have to take it, and again, as much as my premise is, I would rather see a patient not. If you need it, take it at nighttime when you're going to be really, sedentary. You're not going to do a whole lot. You're going to get some rest. You need some sleep. So let's, try it then. But, try not to do it if you're going to be doing a lot of work or, running around all day because you're just going to aggravate the living hell out of it when it gets done with it. So
that's what I do. I only use it when I need it, when I know I'm going to be walking a lot or have to be active more.
Absolutely.
But I'm going to definitely come and see you because I need some help because I really don't want to get surgery. So I'm looking for alternatives to see if it helps first.
Sure. I always say, you can always do surgery. What you can't do is you can't undo surgery.
Right.
So I would say take every step forward, no matter what it's going to be, before you go into the knife. And I don't care what it is. And that way, if you've exhausted everything, and I mean everything, then you last resort is surgery. Never the first option, the last option.
Because my doctor said that it was an arthritic buildup on my joint, so where my joint and my ball connect, and I could see it. It's like all buildup all around.
Well, it depends. I mean, I know that you've seen it, but we'll look at it also. Because we get it all the time. Patients come in all the time. It's like, listen, I've got arthritis. I hear it 20 times a day, 7 days a week. And I'm like, yeah, you've got arthritis. But arthritis in some joints really isn't the cause of pain. Not saying it's not in that case with you. But again, we want to see it. Let's take a look and really see where the true arthritis is. If it's not in the joint, it's around it. Well, that's really not going to cause you pain. It's got to be inside the joint itself. So let's see what it is and let's see what we can do to possibly help you out. And you and anybody else in that matter too.
And my knee as well. Because this whole side, I had a ski accident and had meniscus and I have 2 screws in here.
Okay.
And this was first. And so then I'm not sure what happened, but I don't know. Well, I'll let you tell me because you're the doctor, right? So
that's right. It's putting together a puzzle. So we look at it.
Bossy over there. Bossy over there.
I am, right? That's my MO from New York. Sorry.
That's all right, though. I'm from Pennsylvania, so we're not far away.
Oh, there you go. So you understand completely, right?
I grew up working in an Italian deli for an Italian family.
There you go.
And so I was actually the only non-family member that worked there. So I had my own indoctrination into
Give me your best Italian accent.
I can't do it. I can give you a horrible Irish Scottish accent. I just can't do the yo hey. Yeah, I can't do it. I just and if I do it, it's got to be PG. I'll be totally F-rated in 2 seconds with it. So I can't.
You don't have to be PG here though.
I can.
So that's a good thing.
Forget about it. Like I just can't, go bug hey, so. But funny story is I worked in that deli, and so I speak fast, and everybody in Italian speak fast, right? And so the family's name was Roselli, and so people thought my name wasn't Andy; they thought it was Eddie. So true story. So people would come in and they started calling me Eddie Roselli and Eddie. So everybody, they just call me Eddie. So I was Eddie, right? So I'm out with my family and we go to like the fair or whatever. I'm like, hey, everybody like, hey, Eddie, how you, Eddie? Like my parents, who's Eddie? And I'm like, it's a long story, right? So fast forward, I worked for the deli for 3 years. I had become a senior in high school. I got some awards and accolades. My picture was in the paper and it said Andrew Harris. So all these people come in and they're like, your name's Andrew Harris. And I'm like, we thought it was Eddie Roselli all these years. I'm like, yeah, well, I kind of, I'm like, I still go by Eddie. But true story though. But even like 10 years later, I go home, I still people like, hey, Eddie, how are you? Like, hey, how are you doing?
Oh, so that's funny. I was Eddie adopted Roselli. A new persona. He wanted to be Italian, right? Italian name. It sounds like my son-in-law.
You're Irish, Scottish.
Oh, go to the homeland, oh, hey, we got to get down, got to go down, got to get myself a pint, yeah, get to go, I just saw the whole, it's so bad, it's so horrible. It's just a corker and it's Shannon, and Shannon went down here, and we had to get over there, we had to get some pints, and gotta go.
Very good, high five, that's pretty good.
Bravo. Yeah, it was a kind of a mix with quite a few different.
If I go over to Ireland, they just punch me in the face and kick me right out. That's what they do in a heartbeat. They're like, listen, buddy, get back home. You go back to the deli, Eddie. We don't want you here.
Go, Eddie.
Go, Eddie, right?
Yeah, go. So, yeah.
All right. Well, what brought you into, because I know you weren't originally in college for chiropractic.
No, I was not.
What led you to that?
In the chiropractic, my hand modeling went down the drain real quick. So it just didn't really work well. And my mom said I had a face for radio, and this was a bad thing for me. So, but I'm okay with it now. Thank you. What happened was I had an engineering scholarship. I went to a small school, played football, Division III. Had a very unremarkable college career in football. I was terrible. Like, as much as I want to say I was good, I was really terrible.
What position?
Oh, the bench. The bench. Pretty much. Left guard. I always say left guard in the first half because I had left side of the bench. I guard the water. And then the second half, it was a right tackle. I'd sit on the right side of the bench and tackle anybody near the water. That was my job,
okay,
right?
Awesome.
Yeah, I was a bench. I was a receiver and a wingback. I played for 2 seasons and wasn't it, but I had an engineering scholarship. So I went to a small school called Wilkes College, met some really great people, really wonderful friends, lifelong friends. And then
are those your buddies that you
go to Nantucket and all that?
Yeah.
So that's my core, so I have like 7 friends since I've been 17 or 18.
Oh, that's awesome.
That, at this age now I'm 29. So it's only been, I'm not good at math. I'm really bad, but no, we've been friends for 40 years. So, and we still get together at least once or twice a year. I mean, we probably see each other at least 3 or 4 times every year, which
That's
is
really
nice.
I wish it was more, right?
But it's just it works well. You know what I mean? We've all had kids and families and divorces and like we've all had stuff, but the core friendship of the men has stayed together. And it's been nice because the wives that fit, the wives then are also equally like really tight. The wives that didn't fit into the mix. So, but at Wilkes College, which it didn't fit. So, but we won't talk about that yet. So, but I wound up, I was finishing up my junior year in college and I hated it. I hated engineering. I absolutely couldn't stand it. I told my dad, like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, it's just numbers and math. I have minors in math, minors in physics, and minors in chemistry and the engineering. Like, it was hardcore stuff. But I was...
You wanted to have some fun.
What's that?
Did you still get to have fun?
Oh, I did. I had a great time. And so, but my dad's like, listen, get your degree and then figure out what you want to do in that. Like, get it. You can make money. And so my path took me to Jersey for a year, and then I went down to, I worked for the Department of Defense.
So you actually got your degree
in electrical engineering.
Dang.
So I worked for 1 year for a small controls firm. Then I went down to Georgia. I lived in Georgia, but I worked in Aiken, South Carolina, at a big Department of Defense contractor facility. They made plutonium. They basically would take the plutonium and they'd radiate it. They'd take the radiation out of the plutonium. They have to store it. Right, that was their main thing.
Wow.
So yeah, it's called Savannah Riverside, and I don't think it's in function anymore. But
were they taking it from like the nuclear reactor power plants,
all over the
whatever?
place, all over?
Oh.
Yeah. It actually started for the defense, because for the Department of Defense, but then they were actually, I think, contracting with everybody when the nuclear boom had happened. So I went down.
What do with all that radiation that they took?
Well, there's half-lives to it, so I mean, you have to store it. I mean, I don't want to get too technical, but I still actually remember it, believe it or not. I'm surprised I remember it. But you have to actually take that. You have to take these irradiated targets and put them in these like 55-gallon containers, and they have to be so far equidistant from others in these big facilities. And like, there's a lot that goes into it. And
were you actually doing that stuff around all that radiation?
No, I was just
So you were the geek.
I was. You had different clearance levels, so you were. I forget what they were. Like I became a Q, which is the highest level you can get. They like spend like $20,000 to get you cleared. And so then you can get access to more stuff, like more information and do more. But at my, like here's an exit sign, right? There's an exit sign at the door. I remember my one job was I had to put an exit sign up somewhere. I forget where it was. Now that exit sign, I can go to Home Depot, probably buy the damn thing for what, $70, $100. I could go up there, wire it out, give me an hour. Like that thing's up there in 2 hours. Maybe $150. If I hire an electrician, we're maybe $300, right? In and out. By the time it got done, my request that I did and put it together, that same thing cost $2,000, and it took 18 months before it could actually get installed. That's how crazy the government works.
They're milking it.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, it's not that they milk it. It's just, but every step and procedure that is followed.
The regulations.
The regulation's so stringent, and so every standard operating procedure, every SOP, it's just so batshit crazy. So as you're a young 21, 22, 23-year-old kid, young person wanting to take on the world, that just stifles you. Like, unless you're all about bureaucracy and wanting to like kiss ass, and that's not me. That doesn't fly my world. So I was there for like 3 years and I couldn't stand it. Like it just didn't work. Even though I worked with a lot of young people, I had more fun than I could imagine, but the job sucked. Like it just wasn't for me. So I looked at where I could go within that system. Like this isn't gonna fly with me. So, but down there, that's when I had stopped after my glorious wonderful football career in college, that just teams just loved having me on the team. I wound up my real core friends, they all played rugby. And so I started playing rugby and I loved it. That was my true love, right? And so I started playing rugby. So I played rugby for 19 seasons, which is a little over 10 years. I started when I was, I think, 19 and I finished when I was like 29. And so when I played rugby down in Georgia, I got injured. And I got in at that time frame of my injury, I had gone to the Medical College of Georgia. I'd taken my MCATs. I still needed 2 classes. I was accepted on condition to get the 2 classes, but I was going to start, I think, in the fall of 92. It's a long time ago. Yeah, so somewhere in that time, right? But I was
mathematical career, and it's not adding up right.
I know, but it was a long time ago, right? Because I graduated college in '89, so I was going to start school there, right? And I had it all planned. MCG was $5,000 a year. I'd saved enough money for 2 years. My rent was $210 a month back then. I didn't have a car payment. And I was a bartender.
Life was good.
It was not bad, right? I lived, my time in Augusta, Georgia was fun, more fun than I can imagine. But I hurt my back really bad in a rugby game, so severely bad that I couldn't move for weeks. I couldn't do anything. And so through this whole long confluence of things, I wound up, my team my coach was a chiropractor. I had a neurologist, had an orthopedist, and I actually had a nurse NP, but something like that back in the day. So I had some very educated men on my team back then. And so I went to all of them except the chiropractor, and drugs, medicines, with this test. Nobody could find anything wrong with it. My pain levels went from 9 to 10 to 6 out of 10. So but I still couldn't do anything. It's that kind of pain. Oh my God. And I was really big. I was a monster of man. All I did was lift, right? Lift and play rugby. So that's what I did, lift shit up and put it down, right? And so I'll never forget, so I go to the neurologist, and they had, MRIs were just new technology back then. It's 30 years ago, right? Just coming out, so I got an MRI. Couldn't find anything. So the neurologist is listen, he's your discs are good. He's if we can't get this thing to settle down, we're probably gonna have to go in and do an exploratory surgery. So I'm 23. I'm are you kidding me? That makes, A plus B doesn't equal C. This doesn't make sense to me. But so I call my mom. What do you do? A 23-year-old man, mommy, mom, right? So I call my mom out because my mom's concerned, right? I was a mommy's boy. I was the oldest. I'm the smartest out of my family. I can't help it. My sisters are very dim-witted. And yes, Julie, maybe you are. And
and you're also the funniest.
I am the funniest. She's not that fun. And so they call my sister Fun Harris. She's not that funny. She is. And so I called my mom up that day. I'll never forget. I called my mom and say, "Hey, Mom, listen, this is what they said, and this is what they want to do, and they want to do a surgery." And my mom's like, "Well, then you got to do it." I said, "But Mom, that doesn't make sense." And this is what changed. This changed my life. One conversation, right? So she says, and I said, "Well, my coach is a chiropractor. He keeps telling me to come to his office, and I've never been." And my mom's like, "Oh my God, never, ever go to a chiropractor." I'm like, "Why?" Because I knew Doc Van Metter. He was a chiropractor when I worked at the deli as Eddie, right? I knew Doc. Great guy. Loved him, right? Everybody loved Doc Van Metter. I'm like, why? Doc Van Metter's a good guy. She's like, your dad went to a chiropractor. I'm like, but that's got a pretty shitty back, Mom, right? Did it help? Yeah. Well, what the hell? She's like, it helped. And then he wanted him to come back. I said, Dad's back's bad. Why doesn't he go back? We want to know. I said, well, if he went, would it have helped him? Yeah. Would he be out of pain? Yeah. Then why the hell didn't he go? The simplicity of it made so much sense to me. I said, Mom, you tell me that if Dad would go to a chiropractor, the back pain he's been dealing with the last 10 years, he'd be better? Probably. Then I said, then why doesn't he go? Right?
Why do you think that is?
It's just because people
back then,
well, people it's still the same way now. There's no different now.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, people still have that same pre-framed notion. Because what do we still do? We're still in that same mechanism where we think a magic pill will cure it all. I don't care if it's back pain. I don't care if it's high blood pressure.
Surgery,
I don't care if it's type 2 diabetes. I don't care what the ailment is. The last thing to show in anything is going to be a symptom. Whatever the symptom's going to be, right? We can throw out any symptom in the world. I don't care what it is. But then we want to get to that point where we don't have that symptom. And then, so we get to that point then, well, why would we have to go back? Why would we need to go back to do this to be healthy?
In other words, you're supposed to be a miracle worker and just crack or do whatever you do once.
And then once, and
it
you're
should
gone.
be fixed. Then.
You've
But
got
it's
40,
not.
you've got 40
So you're
years
not a
of
good
damage.
doctor because you have them keep coming back.
So I'm just going to give you the magic pill. I'm going to give you
Yeah.
whatever it is, and you take that pill,
Yeah.
and then you're golden.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't. It's chemically. You're chemically inducing the body.
Yeah.
So which
I believe in everything that you're saying with all that. I don't like chemicals or pills or any of that.
Well, when you think again, and even to make again,
Unless
I
I absolutely feel that I really, really need
if you
it.
need it for the moment, right?
Yeah.
So you always have to look at the most simplistic ways. And I try to explain to my patients things so simply that what you have is a physical problem. We have a physical problem. The spine's out of alignment. We have disc breakdown. We have knee joint breakdown. You don't have a chemical problem. I don't need more steroid in my joint. I don't need more steroids in my mouth. I don't need more Flexerol. I don't need more Neurontin. Like, I don't need a chemical. Like, you would never fix a physical ailment with a chemical solution. Doesn't make sense.
Right. Not even to consider your liver or kidney or all
Whatever.
That
So you have a physical problem, you need a physical solution. Now, if you have a chemical problem, then sure as hell, you want to do a chemically based solution. Your car, again, is out of alignment. You tell your husband, honey, it is so bad out of alignment. Guess what I did today? He's like, well, I got the oil changed. He's like, okay. He's like, it's a great oil change. He's like, well, what the hell did that do for the alignment? Well, I don't know, but the oil change is good, right? I mean,
it makes perfect sense.
Right. Your husband, like, you're an idiot, right? I mean, that's how we look at things. But we can look at that scenario with his car and think that makes perfect sense. But when it comes to our body, we lose our ashy logic in that regard. And I see it every day and twice on Sunday.
Right.
So, but anyway, but long story, my mom says no. I'm like, well, Mom, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I'm like, that's just absolutely, and I thought my mom was intelligent. I'm like, click, called the chiropractor up, went right in that day, went into Glenn's office. It's been 6 weeks at this point. Go in his office, he x-rays me, shows me the problem. Makes sense. I see it, my spine's a mess. Like, it's a mess. So I see it, he puts me down the table, he adjusts me, never been adjusted before, right? I thought he broke me because he didn't.
That's what I'm afraid of.
Well, you can't. I mean, it's impossible. I mean, and I'm gentle. I've estimated probably over 3.2 million bones. So I've moved that many segments in my career of 25 years. There were years that we were seeing, I was seeing 18,000 patients a year. So that's a lot of people. It's a lot of segments. So we've never had a problem, right? So if you're good at what you do, right, So I go into Glenn, he adjusts me. 2 weeks later, man, I'm feeling great. And 4 weeks later, I'm back. We had a regional playoff game up in Charlotte for the rugby team, and I was able to play full speed. So, and that changed me. So that was in October. Fast forward. The total light turning on was, all right, there's something to this. I'm congruent with Glenn's talking about no drugs, no surgeries. So I'm now in March. Now, preceding that, until like the age of 12, 13, I probably had 5 or 6 cases every year of bronchitis and tonsillitis. Every year. Keflex, everything. I mean, I was on every antibiotic known to kind. I was on everything. It could be every decongestant, everything all the way through. The year prior to it, I'm in Georgia. It's my second year in Georgia. And like, I'm dying. And I'm like, I just want my tonsils out. Can you just please, I plead with the ENT, take them out. And he's like, listen, next year you get 4 cases, they're coming out. I'm like, deal. You got it. Sold. So I can't wait, because I know the next year I'm going to get my tonsils out. Like, finally, I will not have to deal with this. It's been a decade of this. We get through, it's March, April. Glenn's like, hey, how you feeling? I was like, great. I was going in, continue to get adjusted like once a week. And he's like, any other things about your health that you notice? And I'm like, no. He was like, anything that you notice, like maybe changed from like last, like he's just having a conversation like we are. And then like the late, I was like, what, man, I didn't get tonsillitis or bronchitis this year. And he's like, well, it makes sense. I said, well, how does that make sense? He's like, well, because when we adjust you, we're affecting your nervous system. And that makes your nervous system stronger, which means your body's going to react, which means your body's healthier. The nerves that go to your lungs are healthier. The nerves that go to your vital organs are healthy. Everything about you. So when we adjust you, it's not just pain. The nerve's only 10% pain. 90% of the nerve controls functionality of the body. So liver, kidney, everything else, the functionality goes up. So he said your immune system was weakened. And now that your nervous system is strong, your immune system is strong. That was the light bulb. For me at that moment in time, I'm like, that makes sense. Like that, like nobody had ever explained it to me before. And I'm like, and that's when I'm like, you know what? I don't think I need to go to MCG, because I was going to go in the next fall, because I was only like 6 months out. And so through that long-winded process, it took So I was 28. My mom had gotten sick. I had some other things that come up. I had to move back up home. But yeah, when I was 28, literally, I sold everything I owned, paid off every bill, whatever didn't fit into my grandmother's 88 Olds Cutlass Sierra, 4-door AM stereo.
Wish I had that today, huh?
Yeah, I wish I did, right? I had it, took my cat, and then drove down to Georgia, and that was it. I threw everything away. Whatever I couldn't fit in that damn car, that was it. So, and I'm like,
So you were 28.
Purged and then
28 when I
rebuilt.
went. I purged it out.
Purged and rebuilt. That's great.
Yeah, and I just, I think you purge through life. As I've kind of gone through that, I've purged at different points, and I think you purge, and I think through purging you grow. Like you can't not.
I agree.
Right? It's
I
part
agree
of the
with that.
process.
I purged when I divorced my first husband. Purged. I took myself, my daughter, my cat, my dog, and maybe 10 items from the home and said, I'm out of here.
That was the end of it.
That was it.
It's purging. That's what happens, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, speaking of your latest purge, how is the dating life at a person of your advanced age?
My advanced age.
Advanced age. 29, did you say? How
Yeah,
old?
29.
We don't use the word. We don't use the 3-letter word "old" in my world. I say I'm vintage, so I'm very
Vintage.
vintage.
I like that.
Okay.
I thought you would. It is. It's weird. It's odd. It's strange. It's such a cluster. It's I don't even know where to begin. Like, my marriage was so inept and so terrible. Like, I just did not have a good marriage. I had a good family, right? Great kids and love them, most of them. But the marriage was so bad that when you get out and we were separated, then it's like this pool, right? There's lots of people. Now, the amazing thing is for men, I don't think it's the same thing for women, but for men, as men age, most men just don't take care of themselves. Right? They just don't, they're carrying 30 pounds. They don't exercise. They just don't seem to take care of themselves. They don't know how to communicate. God bless them, right? They're just, men, I think men just slide back. Like, they just become more like, cavemen, and they're just, Cro-Magnon, and they're walking with their knuckles down and, and Budweiser, and I just want to watch football, and I love football. But I think men do. And so I don't think women are overly attracted to that, no offense.
I agree.
So for me, as I've come into this dating pool at this age, like, the quality of woman that I'm able to possibly attract or see is markedly different than when I was 23 or 24. Like, it's a whole different ball game. Like, when I was 23, like, I could talk and I handle myself and I was, charismatic, but it's far different now. Like, it's so, at this point, like, I've dated some really amazing women in the process. I've dated some amazing batshit crazy people in this process, right? Let's be honest, it's part of it. It's a challenge. It's a challenge because everybody has baggage. You have baggage. You have baggage. I got plenty of baggage. So it's not if you get along, it's how the baggage, how does it all mix together?
I don't really think I have baggage anymore. Do I have I don't have any baggage.
Well, you're married. It doesn't matter. You're off the market. You're not even part of it.
You never know, let me tell you.
Well,
I told him the other day, you're husband number 3. I'm not sure I'll keep you around for a long time. I gotta watch your shit. I tell him that all the time.
We got that on tape.
Seriously,
We have that right there.
That's good. I'm telling the truth, Fred Rock.
So I don't know.
Have you done like the online?
I did all that
stuff?
bullshit. I did all. It's batshit crazy. It's bad.
Yeah,
I don't know. I still don't know if it's swipe left or swipe right. I don't know what you do. Yeah, I don't know what it is.
All right.
I did that in the beginning. I did the whole thing. I did all of it, and I was on a couple different sites. And it's just, and you meet. It's quantity gets quality. That's all it is. It's the same dynamic. Like, through the quantity that's out there, you will get quality. And I feel sorry. Again, I feel sorry for men that can't communicate, men that can't text, because it is for women. Women dominate. Women
One
dominate.
word answer.
Listen, no.
How was your day? Good.
Good, huh? It's like, but
You know what? I have to admit that I do that every once in a while because sometimes I don't feel like texting back.
But that's different. That's your spouse.
Yeah.
Like, that's a whole different dynamic. When you're trying to meet somebody, like, and for a man, you are literally, it's like an interview. It's like an interview, and you have like, it's like almost like you got like 4 senses to catch their attention. So you have to figure stuff that's clever and unique in a way to find out if a person's going to be funny.
So they don't swipe you away.
So that you don't. So if you have that, so if I have somebody that like would connect back in the day, I would do some like just really some stupid shit, right? So the one thing I would do is I would put together, I said, hey, I'm glad we connected. I'm going to pass this along to you. It'd be like an 8-digit alphanumeric code that meant nothing. And so either the person read it and they're like, what the hell is this? And so they wouldn't know what it is. So if they responded back to me, like, what is this? I'm like, that's a password to get into my house. You're welcome anytime, right? So you do something stupid like that to see. And if they respond back, then you know you have a person that's funny and like,
Right,
you got
sense of humor.
got a sense of humor, whatever.
Right.
Like, but you like for a guy,
that's smart.
you got it. Because you can't go, oh my God, you're so pretty. And oh my God, you're so, you can't do that. Because that's just, like that's terrible, right?
Yeah.
So you have to find really unique ways to break the ice because you're communicating and man, you've got to be able to connect.
Yeah.
And I think from that, because it took me about 6 months to learn that. And so from there, I'm an effective communicator via text. I could text better than anybody. Like it was a, and then from that, I could figure out pretty quickly, that's a real person. That's a bot. This is this. Like you can look at a profile.
Did you get the Russian people the immigrants needing money? And
you get it all the time. So the easy ways with, and it's been a couple years I've been on, but what happened would be they would communicate and then they wanted to communicate via email, right? Or maybe WhatsApp. So they communicate through email. So it's not a texting dynamic or on the portal, whatever it would be. So now you're emailing them, which is it. And then they're bringing you in, trying to say, hey, I'm having a tough time. I could use this. So and then you're just stringing you along, right? And then after like 2 of those, you figure it out pretty quick. But then you can see it's like for a man, it's usually like a woman in her probably late 20s, very attractive, really pretty. That shouldn't be on there. Like just come on, seriously. And then you can just tell through the train wreck. And it's not a woman, it's a dude. So
really?
Oh yeah, they're dudes, right? So great story, right? So I'm in the so here's another story, right?
Like trans?
No, but the
they're
person
trying to just get money out of you.
The person that's communicating with you can tell it's a man.
Just by the way they're talking.
Once you start to communicate, you can pretty much tell. You can tell. You can see what they're.
What kind of bullshit is that out there? That is terrible.
That's what happens. Now, I'm not saying it's all that way, but it's out there. 80-20, right? 80-20 rule. So probably 20% of it's that way. So I'm in the process. I'm separated, right? And I don't want to date. I'm in a bad place. I'm mentally struggling. I'm out of my house. I'm away from my kids. I didn't want to get divorced, even though my ex was just not a good person. But you're in a really bad, weird, strange place.
Right. Your comfort zone is.
I'm fried, right? And I'm down here, and I've only been down here like 3 or 4 years. So I met people, but this isn't home. All my boys are up there. All my boys are up in Pennsylvania. I'm kind of alone, right? In that sense. So so I start going in this process, and so I was going to meet somebody for lunch, right? Have some communication, really benign stuff, nothing PG, nothing hard. And so I go and I'm there, and now granted, just so we're clear, I had on blue suede shoes, light blue pants, a white shirt, my Nantucket belt. I look pretty macho, if not gay, right? We're right on the borderline there, right? We're not far off the mark, right?
Did you do that intentionally?
No, that's just kind of how I dress. Angie knows, right? I wear color, right? I mean, I'm very colorful.
Good men can wear pink,
Good answer. So I'm there and I'm sitting at this restaurant and I'm sitting there and I truly, I kid you not, I don't want to be there. Because I'd met 2 people before at a restaurant and the women looked nothing like the profile pic. These women were 15, 20 years older, which the age doesn't matter, but just be true to who you are.
Right. Be honest.
Just be honest.
Yeah.
I'm not airbrushing. I'm not throwing hair. I'm not doing any of that shit. I'm not throwing pictures when I was 30 and a monster. I'm not doing that. This is me. Right. So I'm there and I'm and I feel somebody walking towards me, but I'm not paying attention. It's a dude. And so I'm there and I'm hanging. I'm on my phone and the guy's he's like, excuse me. And I kind of look up and he's like, are you Andrew? And again, who wants to know? And he's like, well, my name's Bob, right? I'm like, how can I help you, Bob? He's like, well, I'm really Joyce. Who we're supposed to meet.
So he posed as a woman?
Posed as a woman. And I'm like, pardon me? And he's like, I'm Joyce from XYZ. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm like, Joyce is, so I'm new. I'm new into this. I don't understand this at all. So my mind's splitting right now. My mind's just going in a warp speed.
Because you're starting to have feelings through texting and things.
I didn't want to have feelings for her.
You might like her, so you need to
I'm going to go on a date just because I am just bored out of my mind,
Maybe
right?
still have a little hope.
So I'm like, all right. So I'm like, I look at this guy. I'm like, are you what the fuck did I say in this thing that I'm gay? I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. My sister's gay, my daughter's gay. What did I say? Exactly. Even though I looked pretty much the part that day, I guess he was pretty happy what he saw, right? He was like, hey,
he was
check
whoa, baby.
him out, right? I'm like, are you, I lost my mind. I said, dude, You got 3 seconds to walk away. I'm going to wipe the floor with your ass right now. I call myself Andy, but when I have a little rage, I call it Randy. That's my name, Randy.
Right.
So in fact, my son Jackson yesterday he's like, boy, Raxon almost came out yesterday. So that's a big thing in the house. It's like Raxon. I said, Raxon, really? Okay, Jackson.
Oh, that's too funny. So, like you said, I have nothing against the gay community or any of that. My nephew and I love his husband, and so we're all good with that. But to make it as a lie, to do that and why lie
but
like that, and then to show up and tell you.
But here's the thing: there are men out
like
there.
I
kid you not. There's men out there that are so destitute, so broken, and women too. I can only speak for myself. They're so broken that guy had such confidence and bravado. Like it's not the first time he's done this. It's not the first time at the prom for this guy. So he's done that before. So it works. It works. Like apparently it works, and he finds, he'll find somebody and hope can make a connection, right?
Well, was he at least a good-looking guy?
Honestly, I have absolutely no recollection. Okay. I couldn't that moment.
Good answer.
Because I swear to God, I went in my car. I swear to God, I went in the car and I was like, I lost my mind. I sat in the car and I had a mental breakdown for about a half hour.
I think I'd be going, I'm never doing this again.
Especially the position that he was in. And now to have that happen, like breaks you even more.
Oh, you're just like, I want
faith in anything that you do. I mean, that's just terrible for people to.
I mean, I had dealt with all the craziness in my marriage and like all that was coming through. And then I'm like, I don't want to date. So then I'm trying to date. I'm like, this isn't working. Like, I'm just, I don't want to talk to you. Like, I don't want to talk to this woman. Like, I'm here to talk about shit. I'm like, no, right? I'm away from my kids. It's just like, it was a really tough time. And that guy, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, I wanted to just.
How long did that kind of phase last for you?
I think it took me about 2 years to just get through it. I mean, I dated, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I dated, but I mean, truth. I wasn't really looking for anything long-term at all. Yeah. And I was very upfront with the women. Mm-hmm. I said short-term, but when you say that to women, they don't care. They're like, oh yeah, he wants long-term.
Well, they all think they're going to change it.
Yeah, it's like, I want short-term. I mean,
they do. Right?
I do. They all do. And that was a project. Let's get, right. I mean, I'm still a project.
Yeah,
but
a lot
all
of
right.
them like a project, and they think that they have enough,
they think they can change it. And I'm like, listen, I am unchangeable.
Change your mind. Yeah.
And so, and I'm like, but I swear to God, I would get into the relationship, whatever it would be, and I already knew my way out. Like my way in, I already knew my way out. And these relationships, unfortunately, would last 4 to 6 weeks, and I was out. And that's what I did. And I did that repeatedly until finally, after about 2 years, I'm like, you know what? I should probably date. I should probably try to find somebody nice to date, right? I'm at this point. I'm over the marriage. I was over her by far. I was definitely over her. But I was still in a little bit of grieving process because it's a loss. It's a loss. I don't care what you say, right? It's a loss. So I'm like, but I was in a place, and so I dated a woman, a really nice woman, but I would I wasn't ready to date. I wasn't ready to make that commitment. So I dated her for maybe 3 or 4 months, and it was great because she lived out of the area. So I'm like, this is great. I'm not going to see her all the time, right? It'll be good. Like, I'll see her. And that didn't work. And so I ruined that pretty quick. Like that didn't take long. And really nice lady. Now she's got some nice guy. She's all happy. Like good for her, But then, I dated a little bit daily, and I did date somebody for an extended time frame, and I ended in July just because I had too much going on. It's so hard when you have. People don't realize it. When you get divorced, the trauma of the divorce, and if you've never gone through it, which I think you both
depending on the reason of the divorce.
So I got over the reason of it, but I had a 3-year brawl with attorneys and financial hardship where, the three of us, I spent over $100,000 in legal fees to get divorced. Like, when you have to think of that, plus what I had to pay in alimony and this, like it is mind-bending and altering to be that place. So when you get done with that, like you're spent. You don't have the effort. You don't have the energy. And I met some really nice women. And the woman I dated for a while, just sweet, kind, beautiful woman. I couldn't give anymore. Like you just can't. You just finally like, I'm done. I have to shut down. I got to break down from this and just need a break. So the last 3 or 4 months, I just took a break. Like I just needed to. And
listen to your own self. And
you have to. Yeah. But what is dating like? It's batshit crazy. It's just batshit crazy. And then, what's the worst thing about dating? Social media. It's the worst. Absolutely, positively the worst. Because the women will see anybody you communicate with and they follow you. Like they follow you. Oh my God.
Are they like psycho women?
Oh, dude, it's like they're.
That's why I like to put my shit on Facebook. I really don't, because it's like, why do I want people to know what I'm doing every minute or where I'm going? I I barely pop. If I pop on Facebook, I'm just there for like 2 seconds and see what my friends did or whatever, and then I'm done. Like, I
Doesn't
don't
matter.
post.
You will get stalked. So it's like, honestly, these women could work for the CIA. They could work for the DEA. They could work for any government sect that could, like, for espionage. Like, these women are smart. Like, they are smart because they know they can point and put on the dots together and they know exactly where it is. Well, who's so-and-so? And you know when you get that comment, like, hey, I was on your I'm like, oh my God, you're on my Facebook.
I'd be like, bye.
It's like, hey, I saw you with XYZ. I'm like, yeah, who is she? I'm like, when that happens, like, I'm done. We're out. That's like, we're good. Thank you. Bye-bye.
See you. Bye-bye.
But honestly, Facebook, social media, Instagram, any of those platforms, I would say that if there's any advice to give anybody that's dating, you want to make certain that you don't have them as friends when you date in the beginning, because you don't want that. You don't want them following you. And it's not like I have anything to hide, but man, they're going to pick it. And then the tough thing is that not most, but a lot of them are like, they're 16. It's like, well, we were at, XYZ restaurant. Let's take a picture. Why didn't you post it? Well, why is that? Why am I not on your Facebook?
Oh, is it the whole in a relationship kind of crap?
That'll end the relationship or the beginning of that.
It's like you're 16, you're like 17, and you're like, because I'm not posting it. I don't want to post it.
Exactly.
Why do I want to post this? So, but we should. Well, why don't you? Well, because I don't want to. Right. So now you're in this position where now as a man, you're stressed and pressured. If you don't post this or put this out there, then you're feeling like you're shaming or hiding something. And in some sense,
that's how the woman feels.
Absolutely. Right. That's what they're doing.
They want to be able to say, oh, see, I'm with him.
No. They want to claim, stake your claim.
Yeah.
He's my man. He's my guy. This is it. Everybody say
Especially when you have a doctor in front of your name.
Is that worse than it was
seriously,
when you were dating in your 20s?
What's up, babe?
Is that part worse now than it was in your 20s?
Well, in the 20s, we didn't have social media. We had none of that. We didn't have that.
Yeah, we didn't really. I don't remember girls having
No, we barely had. Cell phones was a big.
Yeah, we had cell phone. Maybe
I'm not going to say anything. Let me stop right there because I'm not giving away my age.
You did not have a damn cell phone.
I didn't have a cell phone in my 20s.
Not when I was a kid, but as I was.
Oh, like in your 20s, yeah.
No, listen. I was 20. I got my first pager when I think I was 24.
Pagers. That's what,
pagers, and that was it. And that's how you would connect with it. I go to the phone and somebody texts me, and I get the pager and I call them back. And that's how you communicate it, right? HEL 4E, what was it 43110? Hello, like that was. I remember all that stupid shit. Right?
Yeah, great mind.
I'm a geek. Geek. Come on, I'm still an engineer. Such a loser. But that's what we did.
Yeah.
So the pagers, and I think the cell phones for me. I think my first one was. It was like 29, 30. I think my ex and I got that when we were in chiropractic school. That's the first one we got. So yeah, fun times.
No, yeah, that's something else. The big ones started off in the car when you had the really big ones that you.
Oh yeah, huge. They're a monster. Yeah. Now and then I had the Nextel ones where you could do like the walkie-talkie. I thought that was kind of cool shit, right? I'm like, I thought it was pretty cool.
Did you have the suitcase one?
No, I didn't have the funds. I was in chiropractic. I had no money. I was in chiropractic. I was broke.
Yeah, I didn't
either.
I had
zero money. I had negative money. So
I didn't get my first cell phone until I think like 99.
Really? It's about I went to chiropractic school.
Was that 99?
Yeah, I went to school in 95, so probably 96, 97, right around that same time frame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're close, almost the same age?
I'm older.
Much.
At 29?
He's much older.
I'm vintage. I'm more vintage than she is.
Mm-hmm. How much are you? How old are you?
I'm 57.
Okay, that's still young.
53.
It's still young when you're talking to somebody that's 87. Yeah, it's still young.
No, shit, I'm not 53. I'm 54.
I was going to say, I didn't want to.
I don't even know how old I am.
My eyes go, guys. I knew, but I didn't want to say anything. And I figured, all right, she wants the world to know.
Whatever. One year I convinced myself that I was a year older. And so then when my birthday rolled around, I thought it was a year older than what I was really. I forgot that I had added a year for like a few months, so I could get used to saying that I was
I did that in
50.
the doctor's office. And I thought for years that I was this certain age and counted up from there. And then when I put my information down, the doctors came out and said, well, this is the wrong age. I said, what are you talking about? She said, well, you're a year, I think was I older or younger? Oh, I was a year younger.
Okay.
And I was like, get out of here. Well, I'll take it. Thanks for that. And so I was literally a year younger than I've been all these years thinking I was.
That's awesome. Yeah, like
Yeah,
like end of year.
Not anymore. That was a while ago, so it's
that's
already
all right.
that thrill passed.
That's a hooray for that moment, right? I did that with my ex for the longest time. Like math is not maybe her strongest suit, and so I would always be like, I'd celebrate her a year older always, and so like when her birthday would come up, like I'd be hey, happy 28th, 29th, 30th, like, and she believed that. And she's like, well, why is that? It's like, I don't understand. I'm like, well, if you take this minus this is it, and add 1. I'd always add 1. She's like, why that one? Because that's your birthday. And I made it so convincing. She's like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. And it wasn't like she was a dizzy dumb blonde, but she was like, oh, well, yeah, that makes sense. So for the longest time, at least a decade, she thought that she's a year older until somebody, some way, she figured out, oh my God, was she pissed off at me? Like,
For 10 years, he carried it.
It's hysterical. I love it.
Hysterical.
And I had it such the same way. I'm like, Anna, take the year, subtract this, the year you were born, right? Okay, add 1. And she's like, and that's what I did every year. Just add 1.
She's hysterical.
Just been worked. And it worked until she realized, she's like, I'm not that old. So I'm like, all right, whatever.
That's hilarious. Well, do you have any final words that you'd like to share with us or share with the audience?
What do you think the audience would want to know?
Tell us a joke.
Oh,
a
Jesus.
joke?
He's a very intelligent man. That's what you want him to put out to the world as a joke.
Everybody knows how smart he is.
My kids don't. My kids don't know I'm that smart. My ex thinks I'm really dumb. So there's a lot of people that think I'm pretty unintelligent.
What is the smartest thing you want people to know about you?
I think that the thing that I'd want people to know is that from a standpoint from the work that I do, right? I don't think there's going to be anybody that's not. I'm trying the best way to put it in there. Yeah, I can't even talk. I'm not that educated. Let's try it one more time.
Welcome to podcast world.
Exactly.
I think take that out.
I travel between 5 and 8 times a year to go to continuing ed, and not just continuing ed, like specific seminars to actually bring back the best work that we can do here. So again, I don't think I have all the answers, but I surround myself with people that are really top notch in their field, and from there, I'm able to learn and disseminate from
That's very smart.
So like for this year, we brought in the need. In the beginning of next year, we're going to bring in all this work for neuropathy, and then I'm going to bring in gut health work that we're going to do for metabolic disorders. So as we look at it, as I'm expanding the profile of what the office is going to do, I'm a chiropractor. That's what I do. But we're disc work, and now we're knee work. Now we're going to do neuropathy, and then we're also going to reach into this area for metabolic disorders, and then also gut health. Our goal is, again, the premise is the same philosophical approach: no drugs, no surgeries, just results, and that's what we want to do. So that's my goal. That's my passion. And I think in life, no matter where you are, I don't care what it is that you do, you need 2 things. You need a passion, you need a purpose, right? You need that. You need that in that aspect. I don't care if you're 85 years old and you're retired, or if you're a mother of 5, right? Passion and purpose. And I think for where I am, that's my passion. And my purpose is absolutely to help men and women to do what they need to do to get themselves healthy and well.
I love that.
I think from an educated standpoint, I think that's what I want people to know. Information will not lead you to me. My ability to hopefully inspire you and believe and trust in what I am here to offer, my team is to offer, because not just me. I think that is probably that's what gets people there.
Oh, that's awesome. And now you want to leave your real name and where people can contact you? Not the Eddie.
Randy Roselli. Eddie Roselli. No, it's my real name is Andrew Harris with Florida Spine and Disc Institute. We are located in Ormond Beach, Florida. Our website is flspinedisc.com. And our phone number can be reached at 386-677-9355.
Okay.
And I thank you for
thank you
helping
too.
me.
Oh, you're so welcome. We love having you.
Right. Do you have a card on you, though? Because I'll need a card.
I do have a card.
Okay, great.
All right.
All right, everybody.
Well, thank you so much for
joining us.
coming and
Well, it was
enjoying
wonderful.
this
I
little
enjoyed
bit
it.
of
You
time
guys were
with
great,
us.
and we had a lot of fun. So
Yeah.
hopefully we'll help somebody.
Well, I'll be calling tomorrow to schedule an appointment because I really need to figure something out because I can't take the pain anymore.
Well, we will definitely see what we can do to help you. I feel like we can definitely give you something there.
Yeah, great.
Oh, God, maybe we could video it and put it on.
Okay. Not the first visit because that's going to be all.
that's
it's not going to be all
fun.
confidential shit, right?
We can figure it out.
It's not the first visit, but
when you get adjusted.
We're not going to violate anything with HIPAA laws. We're okay.
Right.
We keep it G-rated for the most part. So, and you'll see a lot of stuff because I'm actually now I've just hired somebody who wanted to help me make videos. So we're starting to put together like 45-second little videos in the office. So I'm trying to do one of those a week. That's just going to be on different informational content, but Shows the office. Like I said today, I talked about shockwave. I talked about decompression. I talked about knee decompression. And I talked about the matrix. People have no idea what that is. They can go Google it. Go on my website, you'll understand it. But we're gonna have videos that are gonna come out 45 seconds that gives people at least a little bit more tangible knowledge on it. So again, that'll just be something that we can.
Yeah, that's one of the things that we'll be doing in this group too. Is doing the filming and videoing, and then podcasting, and also Facebook and YouTube and Instagram and all that. So little blips and So
listen, in this day and age, if you don't my practice in Pennsylvania, I didn't have any of this. Down here, you have to have a presence on all platforms. Mm-hmm. Again, the best referral is a referral. Best referral is you telling your friend, hey, go to him. However, then all the other media that's out there, you need to have that presence, because that'll at least get you to them. Then once you come in, now the goal is to actually inform them and hopefully transform them.
Right.
And that's the goal.
Right. Right. Right, I do too. Right. So if you ever need anyone for Facebook or content, look up Krantz Gutters. That's what we do, because he's got an ad on Facebook and YouTube.
Perfect.
So
that's good.
Yeah. All right, everybody. All right. Thank you.
Thanks for coming, and thanks for tuning in. And we will see you next time on the Rocks with Tracy and Angie. Thanks for joining. Peace out.